Had to come outside, enjoy the beautiful weather. I'm not going to be on here too long, but I did want to talk about something. I want to talk about R. Kelly being found guilty. Can I get an amen? That's exciting news, you guys. It really is. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever seen the Surviving R. Kelly documentaries, but I have. I'm pretty sure everyone in the world probably has. It was super duper popular. It was popping. Okay? How do we let this man get away with so much of this stuff? How? Like, and why? You know, it's crazy. I think it's because, and I'm reading his book, a book about him right now called Soulless. And it's about this like journalist who pretty much is like writing the story on R. Kelly throughout the years, you know, from him being married to 15-year-old Aaliyah to the stories now. You know what I mean? Like, it's super crazy that it took so long for these stories to get out, but you know that these women were crying for help for years, and all R. Kelly and his team were just like, here, I'll hand you money, and I'll hand you money, and shut the fuck up, and here's some money, and be quiet, you know, don't say anything else. And it's like, these poor girls were very traumatized by this man. And I know people in the media were like, oh, it's just another thing about trying to get us, you know, money out of a celebrity, you want to bring a black man down. It's like, no, this man is bringing himself down. Like, he's turned these girls into victims, and he pried on them because they were young and they didn't know any better. Like, they were so naive, as we all are when we're that age, you know, 15 and up, you know, out there. And he was having sexual relations with these girls, and he was having them get abortions when they would be pregnant with him. It's like, what did you expect, R. Kelly? Like, these girls are 15, 16, 17, 18. They're probably not on any type of birth control because they're probably not even thinking about boys or talking about boys to their parents to even get on birth control. So for him to make them get abortions it's just so sickening. Like, R. Kelly really traumatized these women. Like, some of these women are married and they have kids, but they have that as a memory for them to always remember. Like, this is something that will always be with them for a long, long time, because R. Kelly traumatized them like that, and he abused them. He used his own sexual abuse that he endured when he was a child to get into their world, you know, using that as like an emotional barrier to be like, hey, I've been through sexual abuse. And they say, oh yeah, so have I. And that's how they bond. And there you go. But the abuser becomes the abuser again. It's like, why? You know, these girls couldn't eat when they wanted to eat. They couldn't use the restroom when they wanted to. They couldn't talk to anybody. And that's what abusers do. They will take you away from your family. Like, I should know, I've been in an abusive relationship where my abuser was trying to get me away from my family as much as he possibly could, because the abuser always makes it seem like they're the only ones that love you, they're the only ones that care about you, and that's not true. They don't love you, they don't care about you at all, but they can manipulate you into thinking that they do. And that's what R. Kelly was doing. And it's so sickening, and it's so sad that he had all these people working for him, knowing what he was doing, and they were helping him do it because he couldn't do it all by himself. How can you take this 16-year-old girl with you to Atlanta, and you have your wife, Andrea at home with kids? Like, how can you do that all by yourself without having a team? And in the stories, you hear a lot of girls say, oh, bodyguard came up to me with a crunched up piece of paper that had R. Kelly's number in it. It says, call him. And they would. And it's just disgusting that he would go to a McDonald's or the mall or to these high schools and pick out these girls and abuse them like that, sexually, physically, emotionally, verbally. Like, he did all of it. These girls experienced all of it, and so have I. I've experienced it all. I don't think I really experienced sexual abuse, but it is sexual abuse if someone is forcing you to do a sexual act that you don't want to do. That's sexual abuse. It is. And I've had that where my abuser was just like, hey, I want you to do this sexually to me, and if you don't, then someone else can. That's forcing someone to do something sexually to you that you don't want to do. You know, but you're forced to do it because that's, you know, they manipulate you in doing that, you know. So I just want to get on here and talk about that situation. I'm happy that he's found guilty. It's been a long time coming. You know, these girls are in their 20s and 30s now, and it's sad that this has happened to them for so many years and happened to so many women. And like Andrea Kelly said, if they were blonde hair, blue-eyed, white girls, this would have been shut down immediately. But because we're black women, you know, it's just like the world and the society just didn't really care. They were like, no, this can't be R. Kelly. It can't be I Believe I Can Fly, R. Kelly. This can't be, you know, Step in the Name of Love, R. Kelly. He was like putting out CDs and albums and music videos while he was doing all this. So the world got to see R. Kelly. These girls got to experience Robert Kelly, the evil Robert Kelly. We only got to see R. Kelly, the musical artist, the dancer, the singer, the one who put out all this good music. And R. Kelly has good music. After the documentary, I just don't listen to his music, and that's just me, because I come from an abusive relationship. You know, now I'm married, but I know what it's like to be abused in every single way you can be abused. And so I just preferably don't want to listen to his music anymore. I love his music. He has put out so many great albums, so many great videos, songs, and everything. He's worked with so many great artists. It's just like, why would you ruin all that? And now I can't listen to your music because I don't want to support what you've done. And I won't. I just won't do it. And let's not forget the parents. These poor girls are teenagers. What were these parents doing at the time with these girls? Now, the ones from today, like a parent said in the documentary, we're aware of R. Kelly's sentence with the young girl on the tape, and he was peeing on her. You know, it was happened to be Sparkle's niece. Crazy to find that out too. And the parents like, well, he was found guilty, so we didn't think anything of it. Bullshit. I don't give a shit if you were ever convicted or weren't convicted of a crime, but you were accused of the crime and there was a whole entire trial of the crime, but you were found not guilty. I do not care. There's video, actual evidence of you peeing on this young girl. The only thing that helped you out was the fact that her and her parents would not testify. That's it. But Sparkle knew who it was, hands down. So I don't care. But you know what? He was selling these girls dreams. He was like, oh, I can make you a star. Never did he record in a studio with these girls. The only thing he ever did was sleep with these girls in the studio. He didn't record with these girls. He sold these girls a dream that never happened, because he was just using them as victims. He was abusing them. He was manipulating them as an older guy doing that to these girls. And half these girls don't even want to sing anymore. They have beautiful voices and, you know, could have great potential in the music industry, but it's like, why, when someone who was in the music industry traumatized you? It's crazy to me. So I love the documentary. I watched it. I watched the second part. I'm reading a book on him. Like, it's super crazy. I'm just so happy he's actually found guilty. And I totally agree with Andrea Kelly. If these were blonde hair, blue-eyed white girl, this story would have been shut down immediately once he was accused. But because they were black African-American girls, one was Hispanic, they didn't care. But now their story was told. He can no longer do that to any more women ever again. These women are finally moved on and have lived their lives. They're married, they have kids. You know, hopefully some of them, I don't know if all of them do. And they're finally able to move on and live on with their lives. As I was too, as an abuser, as someone who was being abused. You know, I got married, you know. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I'm just so happy that R. Kelly was found guilty. I know this is probably like a story people have probably covered all too well, and we're probably sick of hearing R. Kelly's story. But guess what? You're gonna hear it, because I'm happy that this man was found guilty. And that's it. Like, period. These girls finally got their justice that they deserved. R. Kelly got the sentence that he deserved for all the years of abuse, manipulating that he sent to these girls. And he knew he was wrong for that. And I feel really bad for Andrea Kelly, because she has children with this man. I know I have a child with my abuser too. Okay? No, he does not see any parts of her at all. My husband is a wonderful father to her. You know, my abuser doesn't, no, my sperm donor doesn't get to see her. So that's how it goes. And Andrea Kelly, I really hope that her children are able to live a